Hey guys, welcome.
Welcome. You're
Welcome
welcome.
to your thank you. Um thank you to Don't Worry Wednesday for being here and you guys who are welcomed.
Yes.
Um okay. That's how we started this show this time. All right. Catalog that one. Um
Perfect.
so hey, it's Don't Worry Wednesday.
It
How you guys
is.
doing? How are
I'm
you doing?
fantastic.
Good.
How are you doing?
Doing great.
How's the chat doing?
Fantastic. Chat, how you guys doing? Princess has cued me in. So this is the show called Don't Worry Wednesday. This is a stream where we talk about worries to help one another. We are not professionals or professional help, but we'll try to give helpful advice. It takes skill to sound like you're reading something as opposed to just reading something and sounding natural. Like if
It
you
takes
can
skill
read
either
something
way.
if you can read something and sound natural reading it, like you're speaking from the top of your mind, like you're speaking from your mind,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you can read something and it sounds like it's coming out of you without reading it. Like people do that with teleprompters all the time and news and so on.
Hmm.
And then to take it and remove the skill on purpose so that you are noticeably reading it so that people go, okay, yeah, he's reading something. I think that takes like an extra little bit of skill to undo your skill.
Mm.
Kind of like a really good singer can sing like slightly off um on purpose.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I remember going to a dance performance once where I watched the beginning part. These were professionals, right? And they were
Yeah.
really really good. And then this one piece in there, this guy had danced extraordinarily well throughout the entire show. And then at the beginning of this one number, he just like danced really horribly on purpose.
Nice.
And my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. She leaned over. She's like, she's a dancer, and she's like, you have no idea how hard that is to dance badly on purpose when you're a really good dancer. You know,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, because you've trained your body to look good
Hmm.
while you do something so that you look good doing it naturally. Um, there are some weird dances out there I've seen. I'm like, no one looks good doing that. You don't look good when you do that.
If you don't
that's
believe
not
me,
that's not a good dance because you don't look good doing it. Like,
if you don't believe that, just watch something on Twitch.
yeah,
You'll find some stuff.
yeah. There's plenty of stuff. That's
Vanity, I'm
the
great.
beautiful thing about Twitch is there's plenty of amateurs and plenty of talent.
There is, and there's plenty of crazy stuff too. I recently came across this channel on Twitch where this girl,
Jeez.
she milks goats.
Live.
That's
Here
what
you
she
go. Come
does.
here. All right, right in front of the
She
camera. Come
hangs
over here.
out.
Yeah, right. All right, perfect.
Just hangs out and does her farm chores while streaming.
That's great.
I'm like, wow. And she just talks while she's doing it. She just talks about random stuff. And she's milking goats.
Amazing. Hey, why not?
What?
Why
Hey,
not?
yep, that's right. So
That's
the
that's
key
great.
that was a big wake up call to me where it's like, you know what? We talk about this on Don't Worry Wednesday that you have something unique and wonderful to bring to the world. She's just being herself and hanging out with people, you know, milking goats, talking about stuff that, you know, they deal with on a farm. She's just being herself and streaming, and she's got people that are hanging out there, and it's
That's
it's
cool.
it was incredible. I was like, you know what? Every single one of us has something special, and that's so cool.
Hmm. Vanity, how are we doing? I'm doing fantastic. I know Joe's doing fantastic. He said so earlier. So
Hmm. I
thank you.
did, and it hasn't changed.
Oh, okay, that's good. That wasn't too long ago. So, um, that'd be worrisome if it changed. But this is Don't Worry Wednesday, so we can't worry.
That's right.
Um, but yeah, hey, we talked about this before, but this is a show. It's called Don't Worry Wednesday. Whatever you guys want us to talk about as far as problems go, whatever going on in your life, we would love to we'd love to help. You know, we aren't professionals, but we can try to do our best to give you the wisdom we've learned over the years, and where we failed, we can helpfully steer you in the right direction. But yeah, um, what do you say we? I don't think that that's something you should petition for. That would be ridiculous.
I don't have goats, nor have I ever milked a goat. Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't think I'm qualified to do either. Have a goat or milk a goat. Um, it's signed. All right, whatever, guys. Y'all crazy. Um, I'll go milk a bunny. Um, instead. Okay. Anyways. Yep. This is where we're at in this. So how about we jump right into it, guys? I'm gonna read through a list of names, and if you are here, feel free to say something in the chat so that we know we're here. That we know you are here. So we can do your topic. These are the topics that we've received in the past, and they're kind of lying around for us to do them. So here we go. Sevlev,
Let's go.
SK. Let's go. Awkward Pika, Jesse, Con Vulcan, Amira, Random, Cat Chat, Ian, Lam, Anonymous, and Princess. As for the anonymous one,
I have been emailing with said anonymous person, and I believe they are here.
Okay.
So that's one we could do.
Okay. Princess is also here.
Mm-hmm.
Hoi hoi. And that's what it looks like. It's like what we got.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, so we got two.
Let's do the anonymous one, eh?
Let's do it.
Awesome. I'm excited. Feels good to be back on a Don't Worry Wednesday. Don't Worry Wednesdays are just so good.
It is. You know, it's really weird though, because most Wednesdays this time of year, Ryan and I would have black lines on our heads.
Yeah.
In the shape of a cross. But due to COVID, all kinds of weirdness has changed. Different churches are doing things differently. I went to church online today for Ash Wednesday. And yeah.
That's weird.
It is weird. But hey, it's what it is. Oh, you have. I hear the clanking of your jar.
Yeah, see, like this.
Yeah,
that would be on our forehead.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here we are. It's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Princess has the link. I'm gonna click it to verify. Oh yeah.
The clink was from the ashes that I happen to have. See, just like that. It's in crystal, with lead in it. It's really good. Tastes great. Just like silica with lead.
You should not be eating things with lead.
It's glass, so.
Well, don't eat the glass then. How about that?
Whatever, dude. You eat what you like. I'll eat what I like. To quote, what is that? Yukon Cornelius from
What's that?
Yeah, that's Yukon Cornelius. It's one of the very few lines that I can actually quote.
Oh,
Yukon Cornelius from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Shall we?
Yes,
absolutely. We shall, Princess.
So if you want to read along, feel free to click the links. So but yeah, this one's from an anonymous. It's titled Trust and Depression.
Okay. What if you fit all the symptoms of depression, but you can't trust anyone with it? From Anonymous.
All right. Yeah. Fitting all the symptoms of depression, but can't trust anyone with it. You know, that's a really tough place to be. When you're depressed, I think a lot of times having people to rely on can be a crutch. It can hurt you, but it can also be your way out. It depends on the people and depends on yourself most of all. You know, it's a peculiar thing. Sometimes I've met people who are depressed and they have plenty of people who they trust and they let other people know. And in the end, sharing the information made it harder for them.
Mm.
Um, because it created an environment where people are not necessarily trying to help them, but they're consoling them, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But consoling someone doesn't usually help people with depression a lot of times. So in a way, it's sort of a blessing. Um, I'm only trying to like, yes, it's nice to be able to have people to talk to about it so that they can help you, you know. But knowing multiple people who have had depression and had a lot of people know, or just a few people know, and watching them struggle more because other people knew, it sort of is a blessing that you're in the situation, because you have to get to the root of it, which is yourself.
Hmm.
You're forced to deal with it by yourself, which is the root of the problem, yourself, right? It's the way you feel about yourself and, you know, how your life is going and things like that, right? And so to not have to put up with all the hullabaloo of everybody else, it's kind of nice that you are forced to face the root of the problem without going off on a straight path. That being said, of course, it is very nice to be able to have people to rely on and help you through it. But yeah, anyways, that was just to give Joe some time to collect his thoughts and so he can share his wisdom with us. So I'm interested to see what he's got to say.
Me too. I'm not exactly sure what I'm
Wait,
going to
it's
say.
half the time. That's the way it is, like 90% of the time for me. Even
Mhm.
up until like if you talk first and then I come next, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, what the heck's gonna come out of my mouth? Oh,
Well, I can definitely empathize. Having struggled with depression for a long time. I started. I the first time I can remember feeling depression and not really knowing what it was, but then being told that that's what it was. A few years later was like second grade.
hmm.
So I was. How old are you in second grade? Like 8?
No.
Yeah. Kindergarten 5.
So you're
First grade
7.
6.
Oh,
7. Okay. 7 or 8 years old.
sorry. I went to school early. I was 6 when I was in. So, anyways, go on.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I was like 7 or 8 years old, something like that. And that was when I first remembered, actually starting to deal with depression. And I dealt with it, on and off for years, on into through high school, so through middle school, through high school, and into my first year of college, where everything kind of culminated my second semester at university, where I had a nervous breakdown and ended up moving back to my parents' house, and ended up in therapy for a while and everything like that. And so it was a long battle, and there were a lot of things that happened through that time. I don't necessarily really know why I went through it. I can't pinpoint my thought process necessarily why it started, but I do remember when I finally got into and seeing a psychologist, and he would ask me questions and not judge when I would tell him the answers, and that was the most beautiful thing, because um I a big part of the problem was I felt like I wasn't living up to the standards that other people expected of me. And I felt like I was letting other people down. And in doing so, I wasn't doing the right things. And so my life was going to be this big failure, right? Because I wasn't excelling in school. I wasn't doing good. I did really good throughout middle school and high school, and I got picked on a lot for that, because I was kind of small, and I got good grades and everything like that. And then when I got to college, It was amazing. I was National Honor Society when I graduated high school. I had the gold cords and all that stuff when I graduated and
Wow.
everything. I had the thing, NHS, blah, blah, blah. And then I get to college, and the end of my first semester at college, I had like a 0.7 grade
Which
point
is
average.
really, really, really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it's on a 4-point scale. 4 points the highest, 3.5 is kind of the high. That's like the achiever level. 3 points pretty good. 2 point you're passing, kind of. Um, anything less
Barely.
than a 2 point, they start putting you on academic probation. I had a 0.7, and it was crazy. So there was a big shift somewhere along the line, and then I ended up going to therapy, and I remember telling this guy about this stuff, and he just listened. And the thing is I had attached my value to my performance, and so if I wasn't doing good, I felt like I had no value whatsoever, and he helped me understand that no, that doesn't change your value as a person one bit. Whether you're performing high or not at any given point in time doesn't change, how valuable you are. And it's a really weird thing. I don't necessarily know where it all began, all that kind of stuff, but I just remember dealing with it for a long time. And so, Anonymous, I am very, very sorry that you're struggling with this, because I know how painful it is. I know how hard it is. But one of the beautiful things about going through challenges is the strength you gain from it. So here's the thing. Going through this challenge of depression, getting out of it. I know your question wasn't how do I beat this or how do I get out of it. The question was, what if I have the symptoms and I can't trust anyone with it? Well, I imagine you don't want to be depressed. I guess there are probably people out there who they feel like that's what they're supposed to be, and so that's how they act, and so maybe that's all that their life has been, and so that's what they think life is supposed to be, and so that's how they are, and so they don't really want to be out of it. But I would imagine most people that are depressed, it's not a welcome feeling for them. So one of the things, I love how Ryan started this, because it's absolutely true. Sometimes having a person there consoling you isn't the thing that's going to help you. It's not the thing that's going to help you get up and out of the depression. Now, my parents loved me. And when I moved back after my nervous breakdown in college, they were like, yeah, move in, do whatever you need to do. And they would subtly encourage me to just start doing things, whether it's to just get a part-time job, just to start doing things, because they knew that once I got up and got moving in a direction, things would start to smooth out and things would start to brighten up a little bit, because then you're taking your mind off of your issues and your problems and your depression, and you're focusing it on some task or something that you're doing that's productive, and it helps to make you feel better. And so they would encourage me to do that. They never pushed me. They never forced me and said, hey, either you get a job or move out or anything like that. It was just always just a gentle encouragement, like, hey, did you ever think about, going and doing something so you'd have something to do during the day, and you'd also have some money? I mean, that'd be pretty cool. And so it was, but it was really gentle like that. If I hadn't had that, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. Because, well, partly because, my life didn't end up being that way. So, of course, I would not know
Precisely.
what happened.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, that the way out is not what you want to do. Because usually, I remember when I was depressed, all I wanted to do is lay around. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get up. I just wanted to lay there. I wanted to sleep. I wanted to, watch TV. I wanted to, listen to music. I wanted to just be there and not do anything. But that's one of the things that fed my depression, because then I'd be like, oh, well, I'm not even doing anything. I can't even get up. And then because my depression was based on my incorrect view of my value being related to my productivity, when I wasn't productive, it made it worse. Right? Now, since then, I've learned that, like I said at the beginning of the show, every single one of us has something special to bring to the world. Every single one of us is here for a purpose. Everyone's here for a reason. And there's no one else like you. And there never has been, and there never will be. And the world is fortunate to have you. Whatever it is you're here for, we probably don't know yet, because I'm still figuring out my purpose. Ryan's still figuring out his. I don't know if we'll ever figure it out completely. It gets a little clearer, as time goes on. We start to figure out a little bit more and more. We start to uncover a little bit more and more. And it's amazing, because sometimes you just never know what's going to happen. And it can be really exciting. So a couple things you can do. Get up and do something. Maybe try getting up early in the morning. Because, depending on your schedule, I don't know what your schedule is. If it was like when I was depressed, completely depressed, I would be sleeping all the time. So it didn't matter. I could go to bed whenever and get up whenever, So if I got myself up in the morning, that would be a notch of, like moving forward. That would be a good thing. Maybe do something physical, do some stretching, do some yoga, do some Tai Chi, do something where you move your body. And it doesn't have to be rigorous. It can be. If you want to do a bunch of push-ups and stuff like that, that can be helpful too. But some kind of physical activity definitely helps. It helps to line things up in your brain, in a way that I can't really describe, except for when you do it. So get up, do something physical to get your body moving, and your brain will start to function at a better, I don't know, better frequency, better level. I don't know how to describe it. But in that'll be a great first step. And then from there, if you can, remind yourself, you come back here and hang out with us, and we'll remind you that you're here for a reason, that you're here to do something, and you're not a mistake. There's something special that you got to bring to the world, and we want to help you find it, and we want to see it, and I think it would be great. So anyway, that's what I have to start with. I'm going to turn it over to Ryan and see what he has to say. So, Ryan?
All right. Yeah, thanks, Joe. That was great. Yeah, depression for me is something that I could probably talk about for like a couple hours. It's such a big, it's an important thing, especially in our world today. It's interesting. There's a lot more depression going on in the world today than there was, 100 years ago. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them is when you're not focused on survival and you kind of have it to a situation where it's like you can afford to lay down and oversleep and all that kind of stuff. um, you have more time to think about things, and you have more time to be disappointed in yourself and the world around you, I suppose. Um, but another thing is, people put, like Joe was talking about, an unnecessary amount of value into productivity. I think is one of the biggest reasons for people's current depressions or
Mm-hmm.
people who commit suicide. Um, if you look at countries in the Eastern world, like Korea and Japan, they have the highest suicide rates, and those are cultures where they value productivity over anything. You as a human being are equal to the value that you give to your community. And so if you are unable to give more than the person next to you, you are worth less um, in their cultures. Now, that's not like that's exactly how they are. No, there's leniencies. That's not how everybody is, but that's what their cultures kind of tell people. Um, so that can be really tough. In this world that we live in today, if if we're thinking that, that will definitely lead to misunderstanding of value of oneself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's not the only reason for depression. There are other reasons too. Depression can be many things. Mainly when we're talking about depression, I think about the self hate or negative about oneself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know a lot of people who are depressed, right? And they are very kind, very loving, um, and so on. But when it comes to themselves, they are not kind. They are not loving in that sense. You know, to love someone is to desire the best for them, right? And sometimes we get to a point where we stop desiring the best for ourselves. We get to a point where it's like, I just want to be happy. That's different than desiring the best for yourself.
Mm.
And I think we live in a culture where that's the main thing. It's like, you know, sure, in philosophy for thousands of years, we've said this, and even today, and it's a fine statement. Almost everything we do is is in hopes for our happiness, right? We do most of the things we do is to achieve happiness, right? I go out and I work, right? Let's say if I was to go out and work, the reason is because my brain is telling me by working, I'm going to get food, and food will keep me alive, and that will keep me happy. And food makes me happy, right? I enjoy eating, you know, or hey, I want the money so I can go out and watch a movie or be able to afford the things that make me happy, right? Most of the things we do in life ultimately come back to happiness. Um, that's the right reason why we think the way we think and the choices we make. However, that's not the only reason we do things. Sometimes we do things when we know they're not going to make us happy.
Mm.
That usually involves love. When we look at somebody else and we're like, you know what? Doing this thing is not going to make me happy. It might make them happy. It might make them pleased, but um, you know, I'm going to do it anyways because I love them. Sometimes we have to do that for ourselves. Sometimes we have to kick ourselves in the butt and say, get out of here, go do something, you know? Sometimes we have to put down that bag of chips. We're like, you know what? Here's the thing. Part of the reason most people put down the bag of chips when they're like, man, I'm tempted, and they go grab for it, and they're like, wait, I'm on a diet and I don't want to be fat because being fat makes me unhappy with myself. And I don't want to be unhappy. I want to be happy. So they put away the bag of chips, right? However, some people, they grab the bag of chips and they go, these are actually not healthy for me. And I want what's best for me. And what's best for me is to put the bag of chips down. And so the result is the same, but the reason for doing it is very different. One is putting out or basically sacrificing something that is good, a bag of chips, that's good. It tastes good and it feels good, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to lead a life that is the best life, the best version of you, right? Not just because being the best consequently makes you happy, but because you appreciate yourself and you appreciate the God who put you in this world. And you love both of those things. And you love the world, right? And you want to give the world the best you can. You want to put the best you can into the world, right? So you want to be the best version of yourself to do that, right? It's a completely different mindset. And I think if we can stop worrying so much about doing things that make us happy, right? Because there are plenty of things that we can do that make us happy for the moment, and then it fades away. And then we end up more depressed than we started.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, you know, we flip on YouTube and we're like enjoying, oh, that made me laugh. That was nice. You know, it's a nice pleasure. Or, hey, I learned something on YouTube today and that made me feel good, right? And that can be happiness. But I think if we just do things for happiness all the time, what we end up being is a consumer, and end up being unhappy ultimately, one way or another. Because we lose focus on what's best for us. We stop focusing on what's best for us, and we keep focusing on what we think will make us happy. But if we focus on what's best for us, we will be happy consequently.
Mm.
So it's okay to do things that make you happy, but make sure it's the best thing for you before you do those things. I can tell you, when I changed from doing things because they make me happy over to doing things because it's going to make me a good person, a stronger person, a wiser person, etc., I was way more happy doing the things that I thought would turn me into a good person. I felt like I was on top of the world comparatively. And I was proud of myself. I liked myself. You know, you can't be proud of yourself and depressed at the same time. You just can't. It's a beautiful thing. So if we, I don't know, as a culture, this isn't just anonymous, this is everybody. Like, we need to make the shift from doing things because of happiness to doing things because of love. Because to desire the best for it, to get the best out of it. Because that's going to make us happy anyways. But I think that's huge. That's a big deal. You know, when it comes to depression, I've said this many times, most of the time for depression, you know, it's a combination of two habits, two subconscious habits, you know. Subconscious meaning they happen without you thinking hard about them. They don't happen on purpose. They just happen by habit, right? So the first one is being negative. You know, you look at the world and you see negative things. That's not always a bad thing, right? It's okay to see negative things, right? But it's when these two habits get together that kind of causes depression. The second one is being self-focused. Self-focused doesn't mean selfish, right? You can see a lot of depressed people out there, and they're the biggest sweethearts, and they go out of their way for people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when your self-focus is habitually negative, there's no escape from being depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time you think about yourself, or anytime you think about anybody else and how they might think about you, like, oh, I just met this person. Oh, I don't know if they like me. I did say that one thing that might have taken that the wrong way. And then all these negative thoughts flood your mind, right? Like, and you barely had a conversation, or you're too afraid to have a conversation, right? You think about the person and you can't even go to speak to them. They're just a human being. We're made to converse with each other, so the language exists. And we can't do that because we're so afraid of what they might think of us. Which is so weird, because it's like they don't think anything of you because you haven't introduced yourself. And it's like, I would rather that at this point, because if they knew me, they would hate me. You know, that's what a lot of people, you know, with depression would say. Like, if you knew who I really was, you would hate me. You wouldn't like me at all, because I don't like myself, and I'm the only one that knows who I am. And it's like, no, not at all. You know a lot of people and you don't hate them. You're just negative about yourself, right? So we have to, if we're feeling depressed, which I've been there before, we have to focus on those habits and change them.
Mm.
That's the main habit we have to change is, you know what? Instead of being negative about myself, I need to be positive about myself. Instead of focusing on myself all the time, I need to try to focus on others. Now, it's hard not to focus on yourself all the time. You are just in your body,
Mm-hmm.
and you're the only thing you can control.
There's no escape.
There's no escape. And you can't even control yourself correctly half the time, right?
Do you ever sneeze?
I mean, yeah, that's right. Your brain ever goes somewhere, you're like, where the heck are you going? Get back here. You know, it's every day. You ever go to sleep? Yeah, there's not much control there. So like half the time we aren't even in control of ourselves, but this is what we get, right? So of course we're all wrapped up with ourselves. That's normal. But to be able to put yourself in a position where you're not on the side or below anybody, but you put yourself in a position where you know your thought is, I'm going to leave this as it is for now, and when I get back to it, it's going to be the same. It's going to be okay. When you have something you can let go of and come back to, and you know it's going to be fine, you have that comfort, right? You need to be comfortable with yourself in that kind of way, right? You need to be able to take yourself and put yourself to the side for a moment and say, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Let's do this thing. And then I'll get back to me and see where I stand. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be where I was last time, or I'm going to be even happier now that I've done this thing, right? So we need to get to a position where it's like, when I think about myself, I don't think negative things. I think comfortable things. I think, you know what? Whatever's going on in my life, I'm going to get through it. Why? Because my past tells me that I can. I'm here today and I'm alive and I've learned things and I'm learning things as I go and I'm getting smarter and I'm getting stronger and all that kind of stuff, right? You're going to be here tomorrow, most likely, right? You don't know. Someday you're going to die. That's going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's all right. But until that point, you only have so much control. There's a lot of life that we have to let go of because we don't have control of it. We have control over very little. And so in those things that we do have control of, let's do those the best we can. And let everything else just kind of go like, hey, I don't have control over that. I meet someone for the first time. Maybe a word slips up that I was like, oh, shoot, I said that weird. Now they're going to dislike me. They're going to think I'm an idiot or something, whatever. I don't have control over their thoughts. The only thing I have control over is my thoughts and what I'm saying to myself right now. So let's fix that. Hey, I just met this awesome person. They were fantastic. Period. No lollygagging on the ideas of like, oh, I wonder what they thought of me. Oh, how did I act? How was my posture? Oh, shoot, were my shoulders back? Were my shoulders forward? Was I slouched? Oh, I bet you I look so stupid. They don't have glasses and I do. We can't relate at all. It's like, who cares? No, you met someone and they are awesome. Done. That's a way happier way to go through life. Trust me. Mm-hmm. When you can put your thoughts of, instead of worrying about how exceptional you were, just put all of that thought into how exceptional they are. It just changes everything. Because then you're not worried about what you look like. You can focus on the actual things that matter. Because yes, what you look like matters, right? But you can't change their opinion of you once they have an opinion of you. I mean, you can, but it's through talking. It's not through running away. It's not through going, oh no, I don't mean to look so stupid and worried about all that kind of stuff. It's just through being yourself. Because you want them to like you for who you are, right? So if we're talking to people, I think that the most important thing to do is not worry so much about what you look like. Spend that time focusing on them to make sure they look good, right? Because then you're going to make a friend. And that was the whole point of the conversation in the first place, right? That's like why you approach the person. So if you're in a situation where it's like you have depression, right? But you can't trust anybody with it, then some of that is you're too worried about what other people might think. You might be like, trusting people is hard, right? Because when you trust someone, you're vulnerable to them with that, whatever information you gave them, right? And I get that that can be really difficult. But at the same time, without that trust, you cannot reap the benefits of any friendship or relationship, right? You walk into the middle of the woods. I've given this example a long time ago. You walk into the middle of the woods with like corn in your hand and you want to go feed a deer, right? You're like, I just want to go feed a deer. What happens? There is not a deer in sight because they're all running away from you, right? They can't reap the benefits of your kindness because they don't trust you. You could save a deer's life. Be like, hey, I see you're really starving and you're on your deathbed. I'm here to give you corn. And they're like, no, get away. I want to, I want to die by myself here. Like, let me help you.
That's exactly what they say, and that's how they sound too. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duh. That's why I said it the way I
I
did.
know.
The heck?
I was verifying.
You got to point out yeah. That's the way Joe sounds like. What Joe just said. Obviously. So, A+ deer voice. Thanks. So when you in this world, you are a gift. And you want to give so much to people, right? It feels good to give to people, right? Because then we like being a part of the world, giving yourself and your talents and your time to other people. It's a wonderful thing. But imagine if nobody gave you the time to do that. Everybody was just like, yeah, I don't care what you got. Get out of here. Feels bad. Because you're reaped from your ability to give. Right? You need to trust other people because other people have a lot to offer. And you can't benefit from their lives unless you have trust in them, right? Like you are here with us today. And we love you, Anonymous. And you can trust us, right? And I'm not saying you can trust us because I said that. I know you trust us because you're here. You gave us the statement, right? You gave us the topic. And so you have at least some faith and some trust and some interest in what we have to say. In order to reap the benefit of that, you reap benefit from that because you are putting yourself forward. You're being vulnerable in front of us so that you can gain wisdom, right? And that's great. That's the right thing to do. So if you want to be able to receive that from other people in the world around you, you have to trust them. And you have to open up and let them understand your sorrow and your feelings. And it's hard because, again, it makes you vulnerable. But there's something beyond that. And that is this. I can put my trust in almost like I can trust people with a lot of things. Personal effects, even money, whatever. I can put that trust in other people that I've just met. Like I don't even know this guy. I'll give him $20 to go out to the store and buy us something because that's what he said he would do, right? I don't know this person, but I'll let them know like, hey, I'm suffering from this or whatever, right? Why? Not just because of everything I said before, but also because I know that even if they break my trust, it's okay. I know enough about myself to know that if someone breaks my trust, I'm still strong enough to deal with it. There's a thing where like, hey, don't get your hopes up, right? Don't get your hopes up. It's a terrible statement because we should get our hopes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd much rather have my hopes down.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, people say that, right? Um, because they don't know how to handle when their expectations aren't met.
Mm.
It's a good thing to have high expectations. It's a bad thing to not be able to handle when they're not met, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can, and it's the same thing with trust. It's great to have trust, but you need to be able to understand sometimes people are going to be people. People are going to be human. And sometimes people are going to make mistakes, or people are going to forget, or they're going to break it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You're still infinitely valuable regardless. So it doesn't matter. I'm out $20. Who cares? Life goes on, right? And I'm going to forgive that person because whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't waver in who I am because somebody else breaks my trust, right? So I need to give other people trust so that they can bring joy into my life and I can bring joy into theirs. And when they let me down, I can figure it out in that moment whether I want to keep on trusting them or not, But if they let me down, that doesn't change the state of my soul. That doesn't change the state of any of my other relationships, generally speaking, unless they say rumors or something behind my back. And if they do, that's okay. I don't care because I'm still me and I'm still moving forward in life, regardless of whatever the heck they have to say. That's on them. When on the day that they die, God bless them. I hope they've asked for forgiveness because that's on them. It's not on me. I don't care. Like, it is what it is, right? My trust in myself is such that I know that if other people break it, I'm still okay. So I don't know how to get there, but to understand, hey, if someone breaks your trust, it doesn't say anything about you. So don't feel bad about yourself. It just says that's not the person you should trust. Trust other people. Try someone else because there's plenty of other people with plenty of great skills, talents, blessings to offer you.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to.
Mm-hmm.
So find them and spend time with them. And that's that. But anyways, I know I talked about okay, well, anyways, back to you, Joe. Joe, do you have anything you want to add? I know we talked
do.
about it for a while.
Well, because you said something about you're not sure how to get there to that point where you don't care. Was that what you were getting at?
Mm-hmm.
There is one way to move incrementally through into that state where what people do to you or say to you or think of you becomes less and less important. And you kind of get to that point where you trust people, but you also trust that they're people.
Right.
And so they're going to let you down. People will let you down. And that's okay. Right? And the pathway to that is one that Ryan has taught me, and he has taught on this show numerous times, and that is to live a life of virtue. So, and that is, like, we're not saying you have to be perfectly virtuous, but live in a way where you're pursuing virtue and different virtues. There's a ton of them. There's the cardinal virtues. There's Ben Franklin's virtues. I can't even think to name them. Humility,
Patience.
Which
one are we going on?
Abstinence.
Oh, okay.
Which one are we going?
Yeah, that's the cardinal.
Yeah, so temperance. There are different virtues, and so like the more that you live toward those, a virtuous life is a recipe for a happy and secure life inside. That life of contentment, that life of inner peace, right? Thank you, Princess. The 7 cardinal virtues and Franklin's 13 virtues. And you can get some insight there. You're not going to be perfect at them. Maybe ever.
Mm-mm.
And that's okay.
No, I think once you have to master humility, realizing that you're never going to be perfect at any of them.
Yeah. In
That's
fact,
That's how you learn humility. You try them and you're like, wow, I'm terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
I have a daily practice of measuring. Measuring those 7 virtues: what? Chastity, temperance, charity, diligence, patience, kindness, humility. Those are the 7 cardinal ones, right?
Those are the 7 cardinal.
Yeah, and they combat one of the 7 deadly sins. Each one of them, you've heard of the 7 deadly sins. The 7 those virtues combat those 7 deadly sins, right? There's one for each of them. And so I would rate myself on how I did that, how I felt I did that day on each one of those. And the interesting was, whichever one I marked the lowest, that was the same score as I had for the humility one. Because no matter what, like, I knew that one would never go past my lowest one ever, right?
Nice.
But at any rate, so to live that way and to continually think about that, to have that going in your head. Okay, how am I improving in this area? And I would encourage you to pick one at a time and focus on it rather than try to do all of them. Just pick one virtue. Maybe and that one for a week maybe, or a day, or whatever. You can focus on it for however long you want to. But focus on one, think about it, and see how you can be better than you were yesterday in that area. And if you live enough days like that, you'll find your confidence begin to soar. Here's another thing. Adequate amount of rest, good nutrition, and consistent physical activity. To set yourself up in a good physical foundation will also provide that level of, hey, this is another person, they're not out to get me. And even if they were, good luck. Like it kind of gets to be that way where it doesn't matter. I find, interestingly enough, when I'm tired, I think about what people think about me.
Usually when we're tired, we start to fail in one or more of the virtues. Yeah.
Yes. Tiredness does that. We feel weaker, right? And so we tend to have, more moments of failure, or we tend to wonder what other people are thinking about us, and we look at the way somebody's looking at us. And that's just the look they have on their face. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they look like normally. Like, see that? Like when Ryan looks at me like that,
I don't even know what to think.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It's like the A+ deer voice. That's the A+ Ryan face right there.
Well, that's what a deer looks like.
It totally
when
is.
They make that face.
You're absolutely right. When a deer makes that face, that's exactly
when the deer makes that face, that's what they look like.
So
their
anyway,
snout shrinks back into the rest of their skull, and it gets weird. Sorry.
Oh my. But it's so crazy, because then what happens is we start to feel more comfortable in our own skin that way. When we are focused on a virtue and on improving ourselves in a certain way, and then we're also doing good things for ourselves that we know are good, like exercise and eating right, and getting rest, and drinking water, and these things that we know are good for our bodies. The more we do those things, the more solidly we feel about ourselves. And it's really simple. We're not going to be perfect at any of this stuff. I want to drive that point home more, over and over and over again if I can. Perfection is not attainable in any of these. You can always improve. That's That's the double-edged sword. That's what's great about it, and that's what stinks about it. Because you're all one thing that's it stinks because you're never gonna. You can always look at it and be like, well, I failed at it, right? Or you can always look at it and be like, hey, I've got something to try again tomorrow. I've got stuff I can do tomorrow to get better. And it kind of boils down to one thing that I think helps the most of all, and that's action. To act on these. Now, yes, we have to think about it. We got a plan. But to take action, that's when we really start to feel good about ourselves. That's when we really start, now we're thinking about the thing we're doing. We're not thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about that, right? We're in that action mode. And then, and it's the thing that conquers fear. They always talked about, when in the Navy, they would have to teach these people to jump off of, a 10-foot platform or something, because they might have to jump off of a boat sometime into the water. And so if they're in that situation, they wanted them to feel comfortable doing that. There's only one way to get comfortable doing that. And it's doing it. And the interesting thing was, they would have these people, like sometimes really strong, ripped, in shape guys that were freaked out and would not jump off that platform. You know what? Someone would come up and push them off. And and then they weren't scared of it anymore. Because they did it. I've heard it said, this is a great quote. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. So if you look at something and you're afraid, if you look at one of these virtues to chase after, and it kind of scares you, I know. It's okay. The way to not be afraid of it is to do it. And that's hard. But on the other side of that is so much joy and exhilaration and wonder that if I could, help you feel just a little bit of it, you'd look for moments to do that. You'd look for moments in your life where you have the opportunity to do something that you're afraid of, because it's exciting. But anyway, we could go in all kinds of different directions. But the key to defeating depression, Ryan summed it up so well, because he's like, when you're depressed, you're self-focused and negative. Those two things. You have a negative mindset, and it's focused on you. So if you can disrupt either one of those, you will see an improvement.
Yep.
So if you can take your focus off yourself, you will see an improvement. If you can think positively, you will see an improvement. And that's what, pursuing one of those virtues will do. Anyway, that's all I had left. Ryan?
Yeah, I don't think we should spend too much more time. Like I said, this is a topic we could talk like hours on. But
Totally.
yeah, just one last thing. You were talking about how the virtues, it's like you can never get them perfect. It's like they're infinitely improvable. And that's a beautiful thing, because you can look at it and be like, well, hey, well then I'll just keep on climbing. If it just keeps on going up and up and I can never get perfect, that's all right, because there's no end to it. I'll just keep on climbing and climbing, uh, and that's the way it goes. And I think that we as human people are incredible, where we can go, what we can do, and how powerful our thoughts are. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing, and I hope some of this helped. I hope that this all made sense to you, and something that we said can help steer you in a direction that will help you out of it,
Mhm.
how to help you out of depression, and also beginning to trust other people so that you can allow them to be gifts in your life as you are allowed to be a gift in theirs. Um, but yeah, thank you for the wonderful question.
Mhm.
Um,
And
and
I hope that some of that makes sense, and I hope that we didn't overwhelm you. I hope I
yeah,
didn't fire
that's
hose
right.
you.
Yeah, I hope so. It could totally happen.
Mhm.
So, thank you so much. On to the next topic. I'm gonna read through the list one more time to see who's here. If you guys are here, put a message in the chat.
Mhm.
Sevlev, SK, Awkward Pika, Jesse, Convoken, Amira, Random, Catjet, Ian, oh, actually, we just did Anonymous, and Princess. Oh, Princess put a fire truck in the chat.
And a wave.
What are they? Huh?
This a hose.
Oh, fire hose.
Fire hose.
Yes.
So fire truck and water because they don't have a fire hose.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, do they have a Wow. My brain is so bad with words. It's incredible. Fire hydrant.
Yeah, that one.
Nope. They don't have a hydrant.
There's no fire hydrant.
Just
No,
an extinguisher and a cracker.
They got a dab.
They do.
That they do.
You wonder if Joe has magic shoulders.
Yeah. They want to know if when you type, your shoulders don't move.
Really?
If you have Elon Musk's chip in your head or not.
Do I?
Have
Hey,
a
see you,
wonderful
Mar.
night, Mar. Let's see. Okay, so you know what? Let's do Princess, since she's here.
Mm-hmm.
And Princess, do you want someone else? Since you always read other people's, do you want another person to read yours, or do you want to read yours?
Whatever.
All right. Actually, yeah. How about?
Did you give the correct link to your topic, Princess?
Is that the wrong link?
I think it's the right one.
It
is the right one.
It's the right link.
I clicked it. It's the right one.
Yeah, it's the right link.
I was just verifying.
How about?
I got to do the
how
verification. The link verifier.
How about Princess gives the topic title, and I read it, and then Joe and Princess talk about it.
No.
Princess can give herself some advice.
Whoa, that'd be interesting.
Okay. No, okay, we'll do it the normal way. Thanks for your patience. Yeah.
I mean, you're welcome to read it if you want.
We'll read along with you. This is called Slowly Falling Apart by Princess, and she's going to do the honors of reading it.
Ever more slowly I fall apart. Thoughts within my head, all bear sorrow instead. And there's nothing more I can do than to hold on to love, hope, faith, and truth. Truth that I'm not okay, and that's okay, but it's not making sense. Faith that God is with me in all that I will see. Hope that things will go well, and it'll someday be some story to tell. Love, though nothing feels farther when I'm so far. Wow. Pig princess right there.
You have a way with words.
Oh, yes, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
In summary, my current medical condition is hard on my mental state. For those of you who don't know, I have a medical condition that began around the start of this year. My vision is strange, making it hard to read or focus on things, and my balance is very unstable when standing still. It's been so long and my symptoms have changed so much throughout the whole process that I have difficulty understanding if things are getting worse or not. And I don't know what might come next. Today I have learned that my primary doctor left very suddenly, which might explain why they never contacted the neurologist about trying to get me in sooner than April 27th. It's a little bit frustrating. Because I'll probably want to meet the new doctor and hope that they can understand and step in for this after, all the notes and stuff. So just don't know. And the symptoms themselves are also difficult to deal with, not just for the balance in sight, but I'm also just exhausted all the time, and I have a difficulty with keeping my eyes open and getting out of bed in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, going to bed. Oh, wait, that's what I'm supposed to have my eyes closed.
Yes.
It's hard to do the work that I need or desire to do, and I can't work too hard or I get dizzy and tired. I did that when I was cleaning out the freezer. I'm slightly an overachiever if you didn't know. But anyway. And I also worry about whether it being really safe for me to drive sometimes when my vision is less than stellar. And if not more than anything, I know in my head that I'm not alone, but I feel as if there's no one really beside me, with me. Other than God. God's there. He's a great MVP. But I know that it's just my thoughts swirling within a hurricane. Much love, Princess.
All right. Thank you, Princess.
Mhm.
That sounds like a lot and like very difficult.
Mhm.
I, it's one of those things we talk about our personal experiences and how we can relate. This is one of those things, though, where it's like I've never had this mental illness before, and it's hard to say that I've had things like it. I mean, I suppose I have. I mean, I've been sick before, been ridden, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I was a very sickly child growing up. I was just sick every day, all the time, um, until like I was like 6 or 7. Many times having temperatures above 104. Um, I hallucinated because of it. It was pretty great. No, it wasn't. I was being attacked by a dog um, in my hallucination.
Oh,
Um,
that was
yeah,
the hallucination. It
that
wasn't
was the
the.
hallucination.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've been sick before, but I haven't had this sickness. Um, all things considered, at least you aren't bedridden. Being bedridden sucks too, but also not knowing what you have or knowing when you're going to get better, that can be really stressful.
Hmm.
Um, because it's something that you don't know what it is, and the doctors don't know what it is, and they're trying to figure it out, and that can be a pain in the butt.
Mhm.
Um, for me, if that was the case, my initial thoughts would be, oh, they don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. All right, so I guess I can do nothing. Cool, I'll do nothing then. It's one of those things. That's kind of where my mind goes a lot of times. It's like, if I can't do anything about it, then I'm going to stop worrying about it, and I'm just going to try to live my life the best that I can in the state that I'm in, and not overdo myself or expect too much out of myself, and be like, hey, you know what? If if I'm not as good as I was before, it's okay. God's not judging me. I shouldn't judge myself. So it's all right. Um, but anyways, that's what I got to open up with. Um, I'm interested in seeing what Joe might have to say about this. Because he's ever encountered something similar. But yeah, take it away, Joe.
Well, personally, in myself, I've not encountered something like what you're describing, Princess. And I have to say, I'm really sorry to hear that this is still
Mm,
going on, and it's been going on for a while.
yeah.
And I also understand that I think the most frustrating thing, if it were me, would be the fact that nobody can seem to get to the bottom of it, and we're trying to and we have to wait so long, like you got to wait till April 27th to get in to see a neurologist. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Princess is updating. It's also scary because I'm having interviews soon. I'm supposed to be graduating from college too. So I can't think like I used to. And now I'm supposed to show them that I'm competent when I'm not 100%. Um, Today's a bad day for the English language. Oh, that was static. I was like, your guys' avatars are really similar, in that small dot.
Mhm.
Hers has the blue background. um, but
Wait, you're saying
anyway,
all blonde people look the same? What the heck, Joe? That's
yeah,
so
All blondes are equal. I'm
Hair
just kidding.
All blondes are equal, actually. It's a true statement. They're just different people, but they're all equal in value.
Oh my, yes, blondie blondes. I have a nice flesh colored hair.
It's pretty close to blonde.
No, it's kind of. Anyway, Princess, my heart goes out to you. I'm 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 so sorry. I mean, there are health issues swirling around my family right now that are crazy. My brother, with everything he's going through, he's got cancer. My father-in-law, they're still trying to figure out all of the things that are wrong with him, and he's been basically stuck in a hospital bed or in a chair for, I don't know, since June, I think. and
Wow.
and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and it just seems like new things all the time, and he gets better and he gets worse, and there's all kinds of craziness, right? And so I'm watching people go through these health issues, and now there's you, and it's like, I'm watching this happen, and I'm kind of waiting for it to start happening to me. Like, when is it going to be my turn next? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
um,
I know that feeling.
yeah, but having not been through it personally, all I can do is give my outside perspective, which is, man, I don't know how I would respond. If it's me and it's happening to me, I'm not sure how I would be able to handle it. I know logically, I look at afflictions, I look at sicknesses and illnesses, and because I have faith in God and God is the author of life, I trust that he knows what's going on, and he knows how to navigate it, and it's being allowed to happen for a reason. And not only that, but there's great comfort to me also in the fact that, because of my faith where it is placed. Now, those of you who are listening, whether you have this type of faith or not, I don't know. But I'm just going to kind of tell you where I'm coming from. That this life that we're living right now isn't all that there is. We look at people with terminal illnesses, and it's really hard, especially when they're young. But at the same time, it's like, man, they're just close to moving on to a new level, basically. And there was a quote by a saint. I can't remember who the saint was. But they said at one point, they were like, yeah, after we've been dead for thousands of years or whatever, we're going to look back at our life on Earth, and it's going to be like a bad night in a hotel. And I was like, that's kind of true. Because our lifetime here, it's wrought with suffering. I mean, we do this show, Don't Worry Wednesday, because there's suffering. Because we have issues. We all have stuff going on, and it's hard. And Ryan and I are no exception. I mean, we're up here talking, but we have issues. Well, I have more than Ryan. I guarantee it. But see that look? He knows. That's the look of, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably true. I won't fight you.
But no, we've all got stuff going on.
Yeah.
And afflictions have not been distributed equally. I said all blondes are created equal.
They're created equal, but their lives are very different.
Yes. Our afflictions are not distributed equally. I look at my brother, and he's 2 years older than me, and he's got pancreatic cancer, and I'm like, how does this happen? And it's amazing. And then I see people live to, what I would call grumpy old age. I mean, my brother is like one of the most positive, happiest, you know, wonderful people, loving, people you'd ever meet. And he's facing the possibility of his life being cut short. And I meet people all the time where they've lived to a really old age and they're really grouchy.
God's given them more time to figure it out.
The grouchy?
And God's giving them extra time so that they can figure
So
themselves
they can
out.
figure. Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's why they're
I
old.
thought you meant...
That's why the grumpy people are old.
But it's amazing. There have been challenges that I've gone through, not physical medical challenges, but a lot of times mental, or social, or with relationships and stuff like that. There have been some pretty hard challenges, and I look at those and I'm like, man, my life wouldn't be the same without them. I wouldn't be who I am if I hadn't gone through that. And that's a really hard thing to think about when you're in the middle of it. Because, we don't necessarily get the revelation of, how this condition was important to us until afterward. And we're looking back and we look at who we've become as a result. We look at maybe the impact we've had on another person, or, the opportunities that came our way because of this, and then we're like, man, it's a good thing that happened, because this other thing never would have happened if that hadn't happened. And so it's a great mystery. But Princess, knowing your religious background, we're in a time of Lent right now. We just started today. And it's a great time to remember the song, A Reason for Suffering. You posted a link to it not too long ago in the chat. And I don't know if any of this is helping or not. I hope. But Princess, we love you. And I never want to see a person close to me going through painful times and struggles. It saddens me to see anybody I know going through hardships. But I also know that I'm not in charge. And the one who is in charge knows full well what's going on, and also knows why. And he's also trustworthy. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm proud of your faith, and I'm proud of your perseverance. And yeah, I hope that some of what I said can be of comfort. If not, I'm going to turn it over to the best at that, and that's Ryan. So, Ryan?
No, I'm not the best at comfort.
You are.
Okay, I am pretty comfy though.
You are comfy.
I got blankets with me and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man.
No, thank you so much, Joe. And yeah, I share that sentiment. No one likes to see others around them suffer. So we just pray that you get well. And I've been praying for you. So, but one of the things that you mentioned in here is, you're not 100%, right? And I think that's got you down. You want to be 100%. And it's not just like you want to be 100%, so it feels bad because you can't be. But like it goes, I feel like it's a little bit beyond that, like when you look at yourself and you acknowledge that you're not 100%, that makes you feel bad. But don't. don't feel bad that you're not 100%. Um, because even your like 20% is great. Whatever you can give that you give is beautiful. There are people in this world who are suffering to a great degree, who are like on their deathbed, you know, and them giving 1% of what you can is all they are capable of. And we love them. So don't forget in this hard, trying time to continue to love yourself, regardless of what you're able to output. Be thankful to God and your parents and everybody else that you get to be here, even if you can't put your best foot forward all the time. You know, one of the things that you mentioned here was, you know, your worry about, you know, you're graduating and you're trying to get a job, right? And you're putting your papers out and your resume and so on and so forth. And it's in a time where you can't give you 100%, but you're supposed to be showing that you excel beyond all the other people to give them a reason to hire you. One thing that, if I was in the situation, that I would do is I would give my best, whatever that is. And then if I was to be interviewed, right, I would say to them, hey, I'm going through some weird medical stuff right now. So if I like pass out in the middle of this interview, I'm really sorry. And then I would just end it there. Because
And the interview there?
no, not the interview, but end that statement there. If they have
Okay.
any questions, they can ask. You know. I would say I'm not contagious by any means, as well. So I would start with I'm not contagious by any means, but if I like pass out in the middle of this, and I'm going through some weird medical issues right now, and I'm looking to get over it quickly, so I can, and they'll be like, okay, and so when they interview you, you will have said that, and they will look at your current whatever you give, right? And they'll look at you and be like, if this is this girl at 50%, we're going to want to hire her because her 100% is going to be insane. It's going to be awesome. Like, you can use this as a card to up yourself. And I know that sounds weird, but you should. If you are given the opportunity to take your downfall and spin it in such a way where to others it's like, hey, this person is currently inflicted with some kind of weird illness, and if they're going to be even better when they get out of it, we want them on board. That's great. Do that. There are, if I know it's, you don't want to take other people's pity for take advantage of other people's pity, right? You don't want to say, hey, I won out in the competition of who gets hired because I played the pity card, right? Of course, you don't want to do that, but to be honest about the situation is important. Yeah, you're right. That's true. The way I said it does sound suspicious. I'm not contagious in any way.
No.
Yeah, not at all.
Nice
so
to
yeah,
meet
nice
you.
to meet you. So no, obviously you don't want to play the pity card in order to get one up your competition, right? That's not the point. But to be truthful and honest about the scenario is important, and it helps them make a better judgment on what's going on. And you should be honest, because your honesty will help you in your interview. If you're interviewed, like face to face or on a phone call or whatever, your honesty makes a huge impact, because the main what's the word, difference maker in an interview is the relational connection you have with a person
Mm.
that's on the other side of that interview. I've been through a couple of interviews, and for every one of them where I've made a connection with the person, they've either A, hired me, or B, told me to go to apply to their other business
Mm.
just to have me on file because they really liked my attitude, or they really saw, they really had a connection with me. Relationships are the key to a successful interview and getting hired. And that's something you're already good at. Like, I know, like, yeah, you're in this profession, requires a lot of smarts and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. But you're good at relationships. So just be, relatable. And being sick is super relatable. Like, hey, if I faint right now, I'm super sorry. I am got some weird mental sickness going on. It's not contagious or anything. It's just like I'm trying to figure it out. Anyways, yeah, just putting that out there.
If it happens, just leave me there.
Yeah, if I faint, yeah, just leave me there. When I wake up, we can continue the interview. No, okay. Anyways, people will relate to that, and even if they don't relate to it because they've been through it before, they can relate to suffering. They can relate to seeing someone who's like, wow, they're really going out of their way to come here for this interview, even though they're struggling with some crazy mental thing, with some kind of crazy sickness or whatever. They're still coming here. That's a good impression. So I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't worry too much about not being able to give you 100%. Because, again, to land an opportunity at a job a lot of times comes down to how well you relate to another person. And just having that disclosure is kind of like a good card for you to play. But anyways, that hopefully consoles you in and gives you comfort in that field, when it comes to getting a job and all that kind of stuff, because we've all been not 100% before. And to explain that to somebody on the other side of the interview, they're going to take that and understand. As long as you relay it the right way, they'll understand and feel compassionate. And they're not going to go, well, they're not 100% right now, so we can't have them on board. They're going to be thinking, they came out even through their struggle. I want them on board. Because this is the kind of person we can count on. They're not like the kind of person that's like, I had a bad day, so I'm not coming into work today. They're the kind of person that commits. So I want them. It makes a good impression, even though it sucks, even though it stinks to be sick. But that's what I got on that note. But on everything else, I mean, I just second Joe. It's hard because we can't do anything about your sickness. All we can do is hope you get better and pray that you do. And just like Joe said, understand that, God is with you, just like you said. And he feels your confliction just as much as you do. He suffers right alongside you. And I think that's beautiful in a way, So that's what I got. Joe, do you have anything you wanted to add? Good. So I'm gonna let Joe add.
Oh, you wanted me to do that now?
Yeah, whenever. If not right now, we can do it in about like 4 hours or whatever.
First of all, I gotta say, Princess, it's impressive to me that even in the midst of this, you're showing up here
Yeah.
to be here to do this show, to help the people in the chat. I mean, Princess is awesome.
Yeah.
She's here welcoming everybody in the chat, and
Reading these things
reading
when
the
she's having a
topics.
hard time reading.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And it's so impressive to me that even in the midst of what's going on, you're still here with us. And I mean, it's us. I mean, like I look at myself, my opinion of myself is not all that high usually. And it's like anytime anybody would do something to help me out, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, why would you help this
like
weird dude out?
like whoa, that's pretty amazing. And here you are. And you have such a wonderful heart for everybody. And it's just so dang impressive. Because I mean, even in the midst of this, one thing that you will be able to take away from this experience is you will have even more depth with other people when they're suffering. And you already had that. You already had that really well. You already cared enough about people to get involved in this show. Princess just kind of started, handling all the chat for us. She just noticed, she was like, hey, these guys can't always be looking at the chat. Somebody needs to be in there. And so she just kind of started moderating the chat for us. We didn't ask her. She didn't ask us. She didn't ask our permission. And I was a little offended. Just totally kidding.
You weren't.
I was not.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
You're thankful.
offended you.
Yeah. Dang right, you're
Was
sorry.
Not
The heck?
not
You
offended.
thinking? No.
And she just saw a need and started helping. And knowing that that's your heart, Princess, this is just going to deepen that. Even though it's hard to, how we talked in the last topic, we were talking about how when we're depressed, we have negative feelings and we're thinking about ourselves. And when you're faced with this type of situation, it's really easy to turn inward. Like, why is this happening to me? What is going on? And sometimes it's hard to not focus on ourselves because it's like, I have to be paying attention to myself to notice, okay, is there something else going on that I need to tell the doctor about? Is this progressing? Is it getting better? I have to take note of these things. And so it causes you have to be more self-focused as a result. Mm-hmm. And so it gets easy to, fall into that pit even more. And so I totally understand. And for you to selflessly come here and help, it's incredible. And Princess is also one of the moderators on the Static P Friends server on Discord. One of the mods on the Minecraft server, the Black Static and Swarf Minecraft server. She's doing these things because she has such a heart for others. Even in the midst of all this. And I'm really, it's an honor to know you. And I'm really proud of you. And
very well said, ditto.
Like Ryan was saying, you're in our prayers. Absolutely. We hope. I hope that you get through this and get better and can get back to, normal. I hope that they can figure out what it is and that it's something that's treatable something they can, you know, fix with something, some kind of minor surgery or medication or something, something that's simple. But I also know that no matter what, you're still going to have that heart. And that's more important than anything. You're a beautiful person. And this situation doesn't change it. The fact that it's hard and that it might cause you, to be frustrated and maybe angry and, all that kind of stuff. It does not change that you're a beautiful person.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that some of this is helpful. And, just know that we love you. And that's pretty much all I had. So.
Yep.
Do you have anything else, Ryan?
Yeah, just like on that note, it's kind of interesting. It's often that we compare ourselves to other people. On occasion, I'll compare myself to like one of the saints or whatever. And I'll be like, dang it. See, they did all that and they were suffering. Like they had like, they couldn't walk or they were blind or they had some kind of affliction or they had a mental thing or it's like they were sick all the time their whole life. And they did all this great stuff. And it's like, well, I can't top that because I'm not sick. I can do great stuff, but I'm not sick doing it. It's like, that's not fair. I'm not suffering while I do this cool stuff. It's like, so honestly, if I were you, I'd be like, yes. See, now I get to be sick and I get to do wonderful things for other people. Like the saints. As opposed to me who can't even suffer correctly. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I got. But yeah, I appreciate the topic and yeah, I hope that's helpful. I hope it's reassuring and helps you just get through because it's one of those things. It is what it is, and there's nothing any change in mentality can do about it. But I think you're doing the right thing by getting out of your skin and serving other people because it's kind of like one of those things Joe was just talking about. When you hurt your leg, the thing you're thinking about is your leg now.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about your leg on a day where it doesn't hurt, you might realize like, wait a minute, is my leg hurt right now? Why does my leg hurt? Just if you think about it, but you didn't notice until you started thinking about it. Think about your leg right now. Do you feel your leg? You didn't just before I started talking about it. Now you feel your leg because I started talking about it. It's one of those things. And when you're sick and your body hurts or you're worried about reading, you're having focus problems or whatever, now everything's back to being about you, like Joe was saying. So to take time and do things that kind of get you out of your skin a little bit, out of your environment, I think is a helpful thing, because there's nothing you can do about it anyways. So you might as well do something to get away from it so that you don't have to think about it, right? Like running away from things usually isn't the answer at all. But when there's nothing you can do about it, sometimes you just have to walk away from it and just let it be what it is and then do something else. So that's why I say I think it's great that you're here with us. And it's great that you get out of your you go out of your way to help other people or to help people have fun, to have a good time, or play a game or whatever, all that kind of stuff. So thank you for being here. Honestly, you're a blessing. But yeah.
Yep. They were just asking if Princess was the bomber.
She is.
No.
No. Static is the bomber.
Only by accident.
No.
Princess did it on purpose.
No. Just think about it. No Static, no story.
Yeah, that's true.
No story, no bomber. I mean, the bomber,
Yeah.
all of it.
Mm-hmm. The building itself,
Mhm.
the building that was bombed, the idols, all of it.
Yep.
My fault,
Yep.
you know. But it's not really my
So,
fault. It's not my fault, really, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my mom and my dad.
oh, your mom's
So
the
it's probably
bomber.
their fault.
No,
They're the
your
bombers.
mom's the bomb for sure. She's
Yeah,
cool.
my mom is the bomb. My mom, she told me that earlier. I think it was like this. Yeah, she told me that earlier today. And I was just thinking, like, Mom, no, you're the bomb. My mom's the bomb. I wrote in like, what was that? I think I was in fifth grade, fourth grade. I think I was in fourth grade, fourth or fifth grade. And I wrote a little poem and I said, my mom is the bomb. And she came into school and it was posted and she read it and she's like, I'm the bomb? I'm like, yeah, it's a good thing. And she's like, okay. And now she says it all the time. Like,
my mom's the bomb.
my mom's the bomb. I said all sorts of, I don't remember. I was like, my mom's the bomb. She makes great food. I don't know. It rhymed, whatever
She
it was,
makes
though.
great food.
Yeah,
My mom's the bomb. She makes great food.
Yeah. Roses are red, violets are blue. My mom's the bomb. She makes great food. Hey, that rhymes.
Nice. That's perfect. she
She makes
great bombs.
great bombs. My
Oh
mom's
my.
the bomb. She's an expert bomber. Okay. Well, that's that. We're running at hour 50. We only did 2 topics today, sorry. But that's okay. We only had 2 topics.
Mhm.
So just in
That
case
was perfect.
you want your topic read or gone through, and us talking about it, if you have anything in your mind, maybe this show brought up a something curious, something you were thinking about and you want solved, or something you have some wisdom you want to share with us on, even. Feel free to post it in the comments. Post it on Don't Worry Wednesday section of our forums, or send us an email. Princess just provided all of the link and information for you to do that. So, yeah. Terry has a theory.
Yes. I got to give a shout out. Generally Scorched Toast. We've been releasing on the Single Dual channel. This is a new experience in the Black Static and Swerve company. It's an official artist channel, and so we're kind of learning to navigate, this designation of an artist channel. And so we have all our songs from our release from December 31st. They're actually up there now on that channel, but I already scheduled a release of audio only ones that you can actually comment on, that are releasing twice a week. And like every time we release one, Toast has some awesome comment. And I'm like, every time I see that comment, I just smile and I'm like, oh, that's great. Like we have a song called No. And I think the comment was something like, the song says no, but I say yes. Or something like that. I'm like, yes, dude, that's so great.
It's so great.
So anyway, thank you, Toast, for your comments. And it's awesome. So I'm actually working on, we will have a live action official music video for one of those songs coming very soon. It's almost finished. So that's pretty exciting. But anyway.
Yeah, the album's doing surprisingly well on Spotify, but YouTube, it needs to catch up. So if you guys want to give it some views,
to catch up. We do better from Spotify anyway. That's okay.
I was trying to entice them.
YouTube schmootube. Here we are on YouTube.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Go listen to Spotify, but you get more money. It's true.
It is true.
There you go. Where can they find it if they don't know?
On Spotify.
Yeah. What do they have to type in?
Single Dual.
Yeah, and that's
you
not
see my
EH.
name.
It's not EH.
E-H.
Yeah.
Huh? A single duel. It just highlighted my name. That's perfect.
It's not how I wrote it. It's how he wrote it.
A single duel.
Yeah. A single duel.
No. But yeah, you can actually, you know what? If you go to the YouTube channel, if you just click on there and you click on any of the songs, you'll be able to find them on Spotify pretty easy. The links are in there. But yeah, we've had a lot of fun putting this video together, and you're gonna get to see Steve and I playing live action instruments.
I'm excited to see it. What you guys post.
It's fun. I've done some research into video making. I had to because I had no idea how to do
prior
that.
experience.
Yeah, so it's like, well, hey, you guys get to see my video editing education begins now.
Well, I'm expecting great things. So that means in the future, when you get better, it's going to be insane.
Oh man! Wow, princess.
There it is. Thank you
Look
so
at
much.
that. You even found the Spotify link. I just clicked it, and yep, there it is. The whole album.
Boom.
Man, oh man.
Princess is amazing. All right. Well, that's our show for you guys today. Thank you all for spending your time with us. We love each and every one of you, and we hope to see you all again next Wednesday.
Come on
Until
back.
that time, or even on to the future beyond that point. We hope you have a fantastic time here on this earth. Or if you go into outer space, I guess that's fine too.
Yeah.
Have a fantastic time there too.
Spouter face. Outer space.
Is our English really bad today? Yes.
Yes.
Spouter face.
Lock thittens.
Yes. The plot thickens.
Oh my gosh. Whew.
All right.
Love you guys.
Yeah, love you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Yes.
And we couldn't have the show without you. Thank you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Bye, guys.